hit the play button, cool out. It's time for the Knowledgeable Nobody Show.
Well, yeah.
But you're
basically,
so stubborn,
you know,
that is, you weren't gonna do anything until we sat down together. That's how stubborn you are.
Yeah.
4
Yeah,
months
we
later.
know this. I am stubborn, you know, and I did want to bring you on board. That was the whole idea from the get go, and then you know it's like you're doing the trademark Nancy step, we'll call it, the hop in and hop out, the double dutch. And you're like, no. Anyway, so that's when I did the podcast with Eddie Kane, and then, you know, well, I guess it was partially foolish of me again, like what I told you. It was like starting the whole podcast during the holidays, you know, and we had a bunch of things going, you know, being the holidays and doing the whole, you know, gift shopping or even preparations or whatever the heck we're doing drives us plenty crazy. And then we had that failed trial period. We had this trial this one time that we tried. It was in November, and it was a practice go, and the video came out all fuzzy, the audio didn't record. She got all not upset, but like upset in the sense that, oh, because I tried so hard.
Well, it's just kind of,
I haven't exactly got the best rig over here. I got the what I said the last time, and it's not for the sake of repeating good jokes, because that's not a good joke, but it's like literally the freaking backyard, you know what I'm saying, bodega, a podcast, you know what I'm saying. And she was like, oh my God, he's gonna lose it. And I was like sweating. I was just, I do what I can with what I can.
well, I mean, we talked for like 2 hours, maybe, but possibly a little over 2 hours. I forgot. And so I guess the equivalent of that feeling when you realized it wasn't recording anything or recording any audio and you had some footage, felt like kind of like, you know, when you were a kid and you were ready to beat the last level of a NES game and somebody came on by and kicked the NES when they walked by.
Yeah, and the shit glitches out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what it felt like.
Damn, that's like
gone, starting from level 1.
Salt on the wound. Yeah. And shit is even worse if it didn't like save, or I don't think, or if you didn't have a password even. Ooh. Anyways, though, yeah, it was very displeasing. You know, I don't have an Apple with this or that. You know, the first one, it took like a day, because I'm learning the software and I'm learning how to edit, and it took like a day to process and render out, and finally put up another day just to upload it. So I'm like, steaming. It was a sad Hoshi moment. It was a sad Hoshi moment. It's a bad day. That's a Game Grumps reference. I don't know if anybody who follows Game Grumps. I don't know.
Look up Sad Hoshi on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's the effort, man, I guess. And again, it was like, yeah, better on your luck next, you know, on your next time, champ. Nah, man, she was trying to pick me up. I was like, maybe it was good for practice. Yeah, but would have been good to like at least edit and chop it up, put it on the clips and be like, this is the progress, you know, at least, you know, the spoofs or whatever. But video came out looking all fuzzy and shit, like beyond the freaking Nokia phone grade recording. And it was bad. It was bad. Then we had the man, Thanksgiving that came and went, and Christmas then came and went, New Year's came and went, and I had a lot of people supportive of the whole thing too, and and December came around, and unfortunately we had the passing in the family. Papa, rest in peace. He had passed away December 11th. Then I completely fucked my head up, and I don't know. And then the birthday, our boy's birthday. Anyway, time goes by, and it just sucked. And I'm like, man, I hate being inconsistent. If anything, I talk to you about it a lot, about how I hated it. And man, tell them how much I'll be like on your sleeve. Be like, mommy, can we podcast, mommy? And then at a point, it just stopped. Not because I didn't like not because like she wasn't like giving in or anything, but it was just like I was just like gone, depressed, or just trying to do what I can to produce art, or just at least stay an active member of the family, and if I don't know, it was just bad times, I guess too. I just had a lot of people, again, shout out to everyone, but it was just some grim times. I don't know, because he was a beyond a good dude, Papa, beyond a good dude. He talked his shit, and saying like anybody else did or whatever. He's a funny ass dude, and it might have not been the most spiritually perfect, but he was at least in tune with his belief. Saying they were Christian, they are Christian. He was Christian. My aunt is still around now. God bless him. But it was like, man, all the times that I was like thinking about, like, because he was just one of those figures that been around your life, and matter of fact, I'll get into it now, because I'm like always telling you, hey, I'll just get into it in the podcast, we'll talk about it in the podcast, and it never happens. But it was just like, you think about all those moments, like, because he's been around so long, like I swear my first conscious memory was like with him around, and I remember stepping in my face. He'll be, I get it up in my, and be like, put on the freaking that voice that he always did. Hey, that shit. And I remember crying. I remember busting out crying.
Oh my God.
I remember busting out crying, and I remember running, I think to my mom or my dad or whatever, and they asked me, and he made me cry. They just started laughing at me because they already knew who the fuck he was, But
that's funny.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I could have been like 4.
You remember?
4, yeah. That's like I don't remember much past that. But I guess the most impactful, vivid memories just come across, and I'm freaking almost pushing 41 this year. So it's just one of those figures that like it was bugged out. Yo, what you saw like when he was around was basically how he always was. A smart mouth. He didn't give a fuck who was around. He came into my parents, which they were into their whole Christian belief or whatever before or whatever. He used to coming around dropping F-bombs, bro, like just nobody's business and shit, because that's just the type of person he was. He was a grown-ass man, and again, ain't nobody was going to tell him shit. I guess people knew that he meant well, there's no harm in it, not being, brash.
For people that don't know who Papo is to you, or was to you, he's your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't. I don't remember you saying that. Just wanted to...
Yeah, that's my uncle, and he was married to my aunt, which is my blood relative. That type of uncle. He's not my blood or whatever, but that man was around to make crazy impact, and it's crazy because you don't know everybody. Obviously, you're not gonna be in the same circle of people that like families and friends and this and this and that, but he knew crazy amount of people, of course, throughout his lifetime. He was 65, and the impact that he left, and whether it was through humor or dropping some knowledge, man, because he was a smart ass and this and that, but he was, again, spiritually in line. He knew his he knew enough, obviously, to quote the Bible or this and this and that. And you see that man in church, man, lo más bien, and he was at peace. He was always at peace at church. You know what I'm saying? You could see it. And it was crazy though, man, because like, yo, even back then, like the whole thing about like the religion thing, you know how like my family used to get into it, like you thought that was something like, yo, I remember back, you know, I remember waking up, like the shit used to get like so freaking ridiculously heated, man. And it's like,
Wow.
you know, looking back at it, it is one of those, again, one of those impactful moments that is like, man, I don't know about this religion thing, but that's another note. But I remember waking up, there's one.
Did you specify what religion, or you don't want to say?
I'll probably get into it, man. Just know
okay.
I'm not trying to like do any bashing. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I do. You know what I'm saying? But it's like my experiences are my experiences, and then no one can take that. You know what I'm saying? For right or wrong. You know. Anyways, I remember waking up this one specific evening, and my sister could tell you, yo, motherfuckers were at it. And I thought, yeah, my parents and Milady and Papo. And I'm sorry. I don't know if Milady or anybody's relatives are gonna watch this or whatever. It's not to throw, you know, gas on any kind of feud or whatever, but it's freaking hilarious, man, because he used to freaking poke fun at it. You know? Y ahí empezaba. That shit started from there. And then my father would take it the wrong way, because you know how my dad is, and he's very much into proving his point. And
this happened here in Florida or in New York?
No, this is New York, man. When we were young, and I was going to, I think, to school the next day. And
what year, more or less?
Sure, I'd say like probably like 87. I couldn't have been no more than 7 years old.
Wow.
Excuse me. But
so you woke up to basically loud.
Yeah, because
yelling.
we used to have these neighbors upstairs that used to freaking like, worse. These neighbors used to fuck it up. Loud ass. They were metalheads.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, they used to, but cutting it up. Mm-hmm. And the poor apartment floor sometimes, like, because they would invite obviously groups of people, and
oh my god,
shit, went the fuck off, son. We had 40s and blunts and 40s and joints for some. I don't know what they did, but
probably a mosh pit upstairs.
That's what it sounded like. To this one point, that's another fucking story. But that sounded like fucking bowling balls, man. Who fucking brings bowling balls to a jam? But anyway, the fucking argument, initially I thought it was, the people upstairs doing the usual. I'm like, damn, on a school night? Nah.
Oh my God.
I woke up, how you kind of wake up fuzzy, and that initial, like, when you open your eyes, you look and see fuzzy. Well, kind of the same thing with your ears, except as everything's inaudible. You just hear like mumbling or something, and then as you come to, you hear clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was like that.
It was at night, in the middle of the night.
Yeah. It was pretty deep in the night. It could have been like 2:00.
And it was like a weekend or a weekday.
I'm pretty sure it was a weekday.
Oh wow.
It is what it is, man. But I don't know how it started, man, but it was a feud about freaking religion and who's right and who's wrong. Oh, I might as well, because again,
wait, but the argument happened in the middle of the night, or you heard the loud rock music from upstairs in the middle of the night?
No. I thought I heard people upstairs arguing, because they would arguing,
okay,
they would argue, whatever ruckus.
You thought it was coming from upstairs, but
yes.
It was actually just your parents and your aunt and uncle arguing.
Yes.
All four at the same time?
Yes.
Arguing? Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Shit, and it wasn't nothing too pleasant or whatever.
Damn.
But yeah, so I woke up to that, and I remember being rushed off back into the room or whatever, and like the talk being shut down shortly then after, because saying the little kid had woken up already. Mm-hmm. And respect and everything, man, but I was like, damn, bro, what the hell? I mean, then my sister told me, oh yeah, they were having a talk about religion, about who's right and who's wrong, because my aunt and my uncle are into their Christian belief, and my parents are still doing the JW, the Jehovah's Witness thing. With much respect to each. But I remember waking up to that, and I'm like, yo, Mary, what the hell happened? Yo, they had my sister writing a fucking letter, bro. okay, explaining at 3 a.m, explaining why they're right. Why?
So your sister was the stenographer?
Yeah.
Well.
Yes. Yo, but I legit remember the fucking letter, bro, because I like literally read it the next morning, and I'm like, what is this all about? Because I still I couldn't put together what it was. And then my sister, she was like, not like, you know what I'm saying, like she didn't unload everything, but she was kind of like one of those old child moments, like, but she was like, I remember her like feeling shitty because she was tired. They had her up, you know what I'm saying, basically write a draft and then rewrite a draft, I believe.
Oh my God.
So yeah, because you know we weren't in the possession of any kind of computer. We didn't, you know, have a
typewriter.
Yeah, we did have a typewriter, I believe, but I think we had to borrow it from or you know what I'm saying. We didn't. Yeah, we weren't exactly technologically savvy, you know.
Oh,
so. Wow. It was, anyways. My point was, man, he would be the type of person, man, that'd be type of, you know, poking fun in any situation. You know, it's just to happen to be that, you know, my father is the way that he is, you know, old school, old fashioned, you know, saying Dominican head, that he takes his things seriously, and religion being one of those things. So their relationship was, you know it, man, like the Laurel and Hardy. I used to call them. I don't know about anybody else. Because motherfucker used to just literally freaking just poke fun, you know what I'm saying, at each other. And my father always used to be with this sour face, yo. And my father would always go to the freaking to Papo's garage to take his damn tools and shit, right? Mm-hmm. Papo knowing damn well that he fucking took the tools, yo. I told you that he built a closet too, man, specifically for the reason to keep the secret squirrels. What I call my dad, because he'll take your shit, he'll like stash it away, bro. So, so I swear he specifically built that closet to keep my father out. Yeah, but you couldn't do that same thing to my father. My father would specifically close the garage door, you know, the front of the house, with the car parked up to it, so it don't flip open, so nobody gets in there. The garage door from the inside of the house locked all the time. You can't go in there. He'll tell him, yo, you can't go in there. Yo, is that my drill? Is that my... Yo, one of those moments. It's like, oh, come on, Papo. You know how he gets. Come on, Papo.
That's funny.
Yeah. But you got to imagine the impact that, you know, saying through good vibes. And, you know, for better or worse, man, the mark that you leave on people's lives and stuff. And it's not to be like, haha, you miss him now. But it's like, you know, that's the kind of value that I want to help bring to, you know, like, I'm not trying to freaking be like, I'm here to leave my legacy. It's like, who am I? Again, nobody. I'm as much value as you give to me, man. I know how valuable I am. Shit. But I know that I want to at least, what I was telling you, like, damn, you know, if I could back it up a little bit, because to the beginning, I was like, damn, I was getting the fucking headache again. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to... The introvert was creeping in, and I'm like, you know, my neck is kind of tensing up. I don't know about this Wally. And that shit, and I hate that. And that's exactly the point of why I want to do this, because I'm like, damn, that shit fucking sucks. If I don't... I know it's fucking retarded, man. Oh my God, I said it. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I grew up like that. They're gonna try to cancel me, P. I don't mean it in that way. No. It's ridiculous, because I get mad at myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I'm not doing anything productive anyway. You might as well. But I'm like, yo, I just, you know, don't feel right. I don't feel it. You know. And part of the reason why I wanted to do this whole thing is, you know, largely how I grew up around that man. Because I told you, he'd be always with some talk radio. Always with some fucking talk radio. And that man would always just blast that shit, man. So every time I would see you in the freaking front of the school, right? Yeah. And you'd be like... Because... Oh my God, that's another story if you want to get into it, man, because we was just young and stupid. And so oh yeah, just know that when you were like looking for me or whatever, and I'll see you whatever, I was in this car freaking listening to Howard Stern with the fucking bass turned up, man. So all you heard was,
oh my god,
yeah, all you heard was Howard Stern, yo, blasted with the bass with the windows up too.
wow.
Yo, the bass turned up on Howard Stern's voice, yo.
That's funny.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
wants everyone around him to hear.
Nah,
that
but
he's
who
listening to
fucking
Howard
does
Stern.
that shit? Like to annoy us, you know what I'm saying? Like, haha, you little fucks. You know what I'm saying? Off to school you go. You know, like goddamn. Like very, very rarely he let us freaking put anything on, yo.
Maybe it was turned up loud to like kind of get him alert in the morning, to help him stay alert.
It's fucking Howard Stern, man. There was no music intermission or nothing except the freaking 10 seconds clip, and it's like, hey, we're back. You know? It's man, yo, I like that song. Can you fucking play Van Halen? You know, whatever the fuck it was.
He was repping Howard Stern. That was.
Nah, that man would literally be freaking, because Howard Stern would be played on 104.1 over here in Florida, in Orlando, you know, Central Florida. I don't know how far the signal or whatever. But anyways, so that's the station he would listen to, and yo, but it'll be all day. It'll be all day. All day. Like that, you know how I told you about the whole job of his back then. He used to run, you know, freaking around Florida fixing those those photo booths. And I know I told you this before, man, but for the sake of sharing, you know, I'm like, yo, this man would freaking literally rock that shit. Like, we knew the schedule. We knew the schedule, yo. Like, we knew the schedule. When this person comes on, I'll be like, yo, it's 4 o'clock. That type of, you know, like when a show comes on the freaking TV.
Yeah.
And, yo, when the fateful day, you know, that I decided to freaking put the cassette or whatever, I was, hey, what you, because I used to have a recorder, right? When those car trips. And I used to be like just listening to like the Genius, the Jizza, Wu-Tang or whatever. And he had me going because I used to like listen to, you know, whatever freestyle or something, bullshit mix or something. Yeah, I said it, freestyle, Latin freestyle. And fucking, that man freaking listened. He was like, yo, I had a friend back in the 80s. I used to mix it up, you know, so I was like, he was like opening the path to be cool with me, right? So I was like, okay, so this one time, I didn't like with confidence or anything. I was listening to my own shit. He was like, so what you listening to there? Because I was like, for hours, I would flip the tape and back at it. So I was listening to it. I put it on. He'd be listening to it. Takes it and fucking threw it out the window. I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah. Yo.
Oh my god.
But not like my dad slapping the radio uncontrollably and shit, like the Nas, yo. Like that man fucking, my dad slaps the radio like fucking Lord Jesus, like stop this. Yo, but that man did it real calm and shit, and I'm not gonna fucking, Papa had fucking ape knuckles, you know what I'm saying? No, but literally that man used to fucking punch concrete as a kid, yo. He had, you know what I'm saying? Fucking weird tendencies, I guess. I don't know. Not weird tendencies. I knew exactly why, but I don't want to freaking. But yo, that man would fucking give it cocoa thousands of life, man. You know what those two knuckles would have felt on your head, or a slap to the fucking hand, like you don't touch that shit.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? And that man would have fucking had like hard hands, man, because whatever the fuck he was nasty with mechanical, you know. Oh my god, the Taurus, man. And I could go on for days, man. So it's like buckle up, kids. You know, like fucking Kevin Smith says with the kids, man. But that man would freaking get down with the freaking mechanical shit and freaking come over to the house like in New York with his hands all fucked up and dirty and shit, right? With his hands like, yo, what's up, chick? Give me 5. Yo, but his hands like all fucked up like this. Like this. Like, give me 5. I'm trying to match my hands to his, like, the contours. Like, how do you... I don't want to hurt your fingers. Little did I know I wasn't going to hurt shit. That motherfucking hand would have fucking poked through mine. I'm like, oh. Nah. But it was always something, you know what I'm saying? Especially with my dad or something with him, with freaking, some adventure that's, yo, he would always tell me after a while, after seeing him, be like, check. I got this story about your pops and this and this. He would unload something freaking hilarious. Because because my dad would be that freaking type of person, just keep everything to himself, mealtime, and be on the lookout. When there was something, I know, man. Well, you gotta love him for that, man, because he was like, yo, you know what? Yeah, I'm your brother-in-law, and I'll call you on your bullshit. And you gotta love me. Yeah. I'm with your sister, what? So it wasn't like blatant in his face or anything like that, disrespectful. But you could tell that he had fun with it, and it never meant to be like disrespectful. Like that one night, this is what the point is. It never actually got to that point again, and I never heard them get back to that point that they're yelling at each other, this and this and that. But man, it was one of those things that it caused an impact, and it was just one of those things that is like, yo, family. Yeah, family's not always gonna be freaking perfect. You know what I'm saying? I don't come from a broken home, but hell of shit is gonna fucking go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we make it better, kind of shit. So it's like, I guess that's the freaking whole moral lesson of it all. But it was just fucking hilarious. That man was freaking like, am I starting to sweat already? God damn. So that man's freaking humorous as fuck, man. So I would, one of the reasons why I got into this whole shit, like why I wanted to start, cause it was me, Papo, and whoever else. It was me, Papo, Tony. That's the older sibling of his kids. Gilbert would be the middle one, and Jessica would be the youngest. So sometimes all three of us would be in the what is it? I forgot the year, Taurus, man. But this shit was, the Taurus, station wagon,
the beige station wagon.
Yeah, the 86. Yeah, that man. I think it was from 86, man. Nah, I'm bullshitting.
It had tinted windows, I think. Like
it had to been at least from like 90. I don't think the freaking Tauruses were even out at 86. I could be. I don't know my cars like that. I'm not a freaking car aficionado. What happened?
No, I just remember the outside being like this cream color.
Yeah.
And it was like tinted windows? I don't know. I forgot.
I believe at one point, if that was, I don't know. Because at one point, Gil caught possession of that. He tried to hook it up. Yo, let it go, B. Let it go. Oh my God, what I didn't tell you. Did I ever tell you about the fucking Charger back in the day? Yo, this is like back in the 80s, like 86. Yo, this motherfucker had a Charger, bro. This shit, it was like a olive dark green, like forest green, but like mierda. Like almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit was fucking... So, that motherfucker had a fucking Charger back in then, man. And yo, the same, it was like a freaking staple of his. He wasn't trying to make any fucking stops. So anytime we, little kids riding in the back, yo, we gotta go pee. We gotta go pee. Yo, bathroom or restaurant after restaurant, man. It wasn't about McDonald's. I gotta pee. You know what I'm saying? Yo, pee. He had a fucking hole. He had a hole in the back. The floor, the back seat where you put your feet, had a big old fucking gaping hole.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah. And motherfuckers used to actually pee. Oh my God. Yo, I gotta go. Cause this motherfucker would be like on some shit with the road, and God bless him, bro. He made mad runs around the fucking East Coast, man. And it's like, God damn, bro, that motherfucker here, man, is he trying to teach us a lesson? Is he trying to get our freaking like bladders?
So if
conditioned to something, what are you trying to prepare us for, Papa?
And so I have so many questions. So if somebody peed, did you guys all look away at the same time?
Yeah.
If Jessica had to pee, how the hell did she do? There's no way that she could have. Come on. I mean,
I don't know if she went, but I'm pretty sure she did. I couldn't tell you.
Nah.
But it was like, yeah, look away. Unless you were riding with boys or whatever, you're like, you got peed on your pants, like.
Oh my God. How would that work? If you're going like at a certain speed, wouldn't there be like a splatter that comes up?
On the contrary. This is where aerodynamics comes in.
It's science.
So the car is fucking science. Get it right. Yo, so the shit is like literally, I guess there was decent aerodynamics built in that model Charger. So I used to think about the same thing. Your face is perplexed as fuck. Yeah. So freaking, like the air on the bottom of the car is not, it doesn't have the same kind of drag or pull, you know what I'm saying, as the air that's coming up on top. It's slightly you know, and plus that air is getting pushed down, pushed down as well. That's why cars are, you know, built with that, you know, so that way that forces the air out and it pushes the vehicle down. Yeah. So back to that freaking Falcon Winter Soldier episode. Sorry, the first one. I know I keep on hitting your tab, your damn lap. It's like when that when Falcon flew under the truck. Yeah, that's bullshit. He should have got fucked up because the fucking the drag of that vehicle, the draft of the air would have pushed him down, and you know, I used to for Falcon. You know,
that's crazy.
Yes, it is.
I mean, but you know, I still kind of like call bullshit because he's flying and he's coming down at an incline and then gaining speed as he kind of makes his dip to go under the truck. So I feel like he took up enough speed that that could possibly, you could do something like that in real.
You know what?
Pretty nasty.
I don't know because those wings were supposedly Stark tech, right? So I don't know if that's something that like the wings are freaking or something that Stark thought about. How we go from like subject to subject, but it's all good. So I don't know if that's something that was like taken into consideration. Like the wings could help. The wings could help freaking, you know, saying
some type of propulsion.
No, auto what?
The propulse?
Yeah, it does have. Yeah, he does have a jet in the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if like the wings adjust himself for like an occasion like that where he's being pushed down, it'll automatically calibrate, right? And then the wings get tilted upward, like, you know, from the side. From the side, right? They don't do this, but they do this to help bring them up, right? But anyways, yeah. But it's MCU. It's a movie. It's a hero. Freaking superhero. Yeah. I just ride with it. And I love it. I love it. I don't know what the hell. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, I remember seeing the freaking whole Falcon Winter Soldier thing and the WandaVision trailer. I mean, not the trailer, but the announcement from what more than a year ago.
Yeah. And
I'm like, oh shit. Like, here we go, Marvel freaking trying new things, man. And, you know, I'm like, damn, could this be like a misstep or whatever, whatnot, this and that. And I'm like, yo, I can't front. I have my doubts. But I don't know. I like where it's going. I like what they're doing. Freaking Falcon, exactly, especially too. Freaking, that's another thing too. Mad WandaVision done came and went. Falcon and Winter Soldier's almost done. We got one last, so, yo. But I don't know.
Yeah, I still keep on with the whole 6 episodes thing. Like, I just feel like there was just a lot that they squeezed in, and maybe it was due to the COVID pandemic and them having to shorten their episodes or something. But I just feel like it should have been more than 6.
Nah, I think that's perfect because
I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, come on, seasons typically will have, you know, even Stranger Things has 9 episodes.
Yeah, but that's a totally different type of story, I feel. Like, you know, it's a lot more slower paced, and they're introducing other elements and, you know, in different ways. Like, it's more of a 80s themed, obviously, but not just in aesthetics and appearance, but like how the formula is. That's what I was trying to tell you. Like, they got it, like, well, near perfect because, like, they have that cheesy element. Obviously, the 80s aesthetics, you know what I'm saying? The way of storytelling, I mean to say. You know what I'm saying? So they know when to freaking cut through certain moments, or because there's plenty of 80s movies to reference, right? So it's like, okay, so it's like you got to imagine for whatever freaking study group, you know, that whatever took notes, and they're like, okay, so we do similar cuts and similar edits, introduce love in similar ways, and, you know, the whole focus, you might have love introduced in the MCU or whatever, but it's not done in the same way, like it's not dragged out. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no what happened?
No.
You good?
Yeah.
So there's no like dragged out love stories or whatever because the focus is so much on the attention, the drama of it all. But, you know, again, what I was trying to tell you too, and you know what, we're finally here, babe. Because I'll be like, you know what, this would be great on the podcast, and you gotta talk to me in the podcast.
I guess I don't like. I'm trying to be careful with what I say about the Disney shows or I hate to call it Disney shows just because Disney owns them. The Marvel shows. I just like. But that's, I don't know, it's frustrating, and yeah, I like the shows, but I don't at the same time there's a lot of things I don't like, you know, and I don't know, especially just what I guess I just been going down the rabbit hole too much lately, or just the things that I've been coming in contact with and on YouTube, and just what I've been seeing, and it just kind of gives me like a bad taste in my mouth for just kind of it's hard to, I don't know. I remember at first I was just like, I didn't even want to watch the the films. I just thought they were like excessive, and I was like, there's no way these films could be that good. They're busting out 2 Marvel films every year. How the hell could these films be that good? And then of course I already knew that Robert Downey Jr. Obviously is Iron Man. I knew that, but I never really sat through all 3 films. I remember just like maybe watching parts of Iron Man with you years ago, or maybe we watched it but I didn't really remember. I think we watched it years ago, but I just didn't remember it. Never watched the second one, never watched the third, never continued until just before Endgame, until we needed to go see Endgame, and then it was like, all right, we gotta see Endgame, we gotta watch 20 films or whatever, and get to Endgame. So
but who told you? Because again, all of DC's ass, man. Like, no.
Well, it's not about being.
No.
Yeah, fine. I was up DC's ass because they had an amazing director, Christopher Nolan, doing the Batman films,
and that was for the time.
Those films will always be my favorite. I don't care what they do with Batman now.
Yeah, there's pre the whole Justice League thing. I mean, damn, bro, yo, that's another thing too, babe. Do you know the freaking like the whole Snyder Justice League and all that stuff? That's another thing too. It's like, yo, before episode 2 fucking happened, the fabled, long fucking sought after to these freaking like, yo, they wanted it. They wanted this for a while, right?
The Snyder
Cut. The Snyder Cut freaking hashtag was like a thing like happening from social media. That's the thing. You're not exactly
what that did for people, because a 4-hour cut of a movie is not a movie. That's a movie that needed to go to the editing floor.
Nah, I guess I don't know where it came from, but I don't know if the studio was trying to have them do like an episodic thing, or release it in 2 halves. What was the original plan when Snyder was still in control before the passing of his daughter?
I mean, that's great. I know there's director's cuts and stuff, and longer cuts of movies that I just don't see the how do you watch some. There's no such, not that there's no such thing as a 4-hour movie, because Endgame was 3 hours and a minute, 3 hours and 1 minute, and I just feel like watching that is like, I guess you get to see what we were supposed to see, or what the fans had originally hoped to see, but I don't even know how that helps. Like, just watching that just seems like an unorganized set of scenes of a movie, just compiled together in 4 hours.
Nah, again, the thing was supposed to be split up into the 2 when Snyder was in control of it or whatever. And then the passing of his daughter, and then freaking Warner Brothers studio hijinks ensue, you know what I'm saying? And
so it was supposed to be 2 hours and then 2 hours.
Something like that. I don't know what the original like running time for each movie was, but it was supposed to be a setup for another one.
I don't know why that reminds me of when I first discovered. My dad had left. He used to leave like blockbuster movies around, and I used to kind of just find them. And I think he had rented Heat, and I remember being so like intrigued by this double VHS movie. I was like, wow, it's so long that it has 2 VHSs for the same movie. And I forgot how old I was when Heat came out, but I watched some of that, and I wasn't supposed to, but I was watching it, and where the hell my parents were at the time, but
oh, my little virgin eyes. But
I was like, oh shit, this movie is
more material. Yeah, I thought it was like, wow. I thought it was like extra material, like what bonus features on a DVD are. When I saw a cassette like that, I'm like, I was like, what is going on here? Yeah.
I mean, besides that movie, the only other VHS that was long like that was maybe
the Ten Commandments.
The 10 Commandments, or maybe The Godfather, or definitely Titanic was on 2 VHSs when it came out.
But that was later. I'm talking about when we were young, though. Like when I first seen 10 Commandments, I'm like,
that's a long
I was just used to freaking little bullshit, you know, Looney Tune cartoons on a freaking VHS that we got from the dollar store or something. It was, or you know, whatever freaking Disney feature length film. How can there be more movie? Like, it was a big deal. Like, and then, oh my God, yeah, remember the freaking, like, the dubbing of the cassettes? So I think there were like 3 cassettes, like, taken up with, I don't know whatever bullshit mode.
Well, I mean,
the LP, SP,
yeah, I mean,
thing, whatever.
It was just, you know, it was like pick your poison. You want to watch a good movie and take up the whole tape for 2 hours on SP, or you want to use the tape and make 3 movies. You know, like I used to do when I was a kid. I used to put the tape on EP because I knew I could get 3 2-hour movies on one cassette.
But you watching fuzz, son. You watching fuzz at that point,
but it
son.
was like just kind of like pick your poison. It was just like, you know, well,
you looking like you watching a copy of a copy at that point, son.
You know, it was a little
talking to the VHS aficionado. Like
it was
30 years later.
It was a little grainy. It was a little grainy, but hey, there was just more quantity. There was just 3 movies on one tape.
Yeah.
You know, I was on a budget.
Yeah, I can't front. Shoot, I had freaking Transformers, I think, on one, a Disney cartoon afterwards, and some cartoons after, like some, you know, bullshit Looney Tunes, like us, all on one, because I was like, man, I'm familiar with it anyway. I don't need, you know, that resolution, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whenever I was recording something from the TV. But shit, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You were like freaking all up in the freaking DC world or whatever. I wasn't trying to be like, oh my God, fanboy, you should be over here on this side.
Well,
I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that. No, I stopped doing that whole fanboy shit and fucking like since the day of like Sega and NES, you know. Shit.
I wasn't really like, how do I say this? Like, I always loved the Michael Keaton Batman films, of course, because I grew up watching those, and so you know that's kind of, I guess from young that was my, you know, I always really liked Batman, I guess, and even the Christopher Reeve Superman films, those will always be that's Superman to me. Mm-hmm. You know, even if people could say whatever the hell they want to say about the 3rd and the 4th film, and you know, it's like kind of with Rocky. It's like, you know, the first 1 or 2 is good, or probably with Rocky, I think people are like, for a lot of people are like, nah, I just watched the first one. But you know, for me, it was just like, you know, you have this amazing director, Christopher Nolan, that I mean, and it's not just I don't just love his Batman films. I like Inception, and I appreciated the Interstellar movie, even though it was a little bit hard to understand at times, and I need to watch it again. Clearly,
you're not nerd enough.
You know, it was confusing, but it was great. You know, so I really like him as a director. I really think he's awesome. And I guess I was hoping that he was going to do more DC projects. I was thinking that he was going to continue that. But I will say that when I first watched Batman Begins, I didn't like it at first because as soon as I saw Christian Bale's face, I was like, oh shit, he's the guy that killed Mekhi Phifer in Shaft. I can't watch this. He's a villain already.
Oh my God, I remember that was around those times, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I can't.
But you got over it though.
yeah, I know it was hard, but it was like I did manage to get over it. And you know, so yeah, that's kind of, you know, so it was really good.
No, like I said, I wasn't trying to be like fanboy. But like I tell everybody, man, like, yo, like I've been waiting for these freaking movies to come out for years. You know what I'm saying? But when Batman freaking first came out, I'm like, yo, you know, like, let's go. Like some more hero flicks. You know what I'm saying? If it could be done right, man, because I was like still, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, Affleck, you know, Daredevil. But I'm like, yo, superheroes movies just obviously are not what they are now. Back then they were just, obviously they paved the way, you know what I'm saying, for us to get what we got now, which is, you know what I'm saying, plausible, man.
But then I ended up, so I went from being a non-Marvel fan, I went from being a glorified DC fan to a certain degree, because really just, you know, loving Batman and Superman. And then I went to a Marvel beginner fan. Mm-hmm. And then I went to a fucking Marvel on steroids nerdum fan. And then it was just like, you know, I have a cardboard from the back of a cereal box of Captain America on my freezer right now as we speak.
Yeah.
You know, and man, as a matter of fact, speaking of that piece of cardboard, it's a Captain America these little mini posters that Honey Nut Cheerios was putting when Endgame came out. and I'm making note of this because I took not just my mom, you, me, Kieran, and Ethan. We all watched Avengers Endgame with free tickets through Cheerios.
I'm saying it's there. Go ahead, tell them, Shan.
And all I needed to do was buy, how many boxes of cereal did I need to buy? I forgot. I think it was a ticket. I can't remember that right now, man. It was like a whatever it was. I had you got a $12 or for more than $12 credit for to see Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was two boxes, every 2 boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios or yellow box. I don't know what it was, but we all went for free. I didn't pay it. We didn't pay a dime. I had a little manila envelope with I had taped the picture of Captain America, the little cardboard that I took from the back of the cereal box. I actually had taped him on my manila envelope, and in my manila envelope was 5 Xerox printouts of tickets to see Avengers Endgame.
some serious business in here. Which you
they should have gave me money back because those tickets were worth $13 a piece, and I think we went to the matinee and the freaking prices. We went over there like before 3 p.m. So the tickets was actually like $5 or $6. So they should have gave me some money back. You know?
Yeah. I don't think they were that nice, man. It's like, yo, you got a freaking little freebie right there before you. Shit was free though. Yeah, that's if the freaking offer is there, you might as well freaking. We were some cereal eating ass motherfuckers for a little bit, but it wasn't like something that was not beneficial to our diet, you know.
It was either the see, now I'm getting confused because I know we did a lot of free. We went to the movies 3 times in the summer of 2019. We went 3 times to the theater and we didn't pay nothing. I think maybe we paid a little bit to see Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home. We might have paid like $2. For you, me, and Kieran and Ethan. I think I paid a little bit because the tickets were I think it was like a reduced deal. Mm-hmm. Like I did a Ziploc bag deal. There was another Avengers Ziploc bag promotion where you buy like, I think it was 2 Ziploc products or whatever. I forgot what it was. I can't remember.
Something like that. But it was all stuff that we needed.
Yeah.
Not like that one time. Not like that one time we ate mad chicken fingers from McDonald's to get Best Buy bucks
to get a PS.
To get a PS2.
PlayStation 2. Yeah. Oh my god.
And questionably raise our cholesterol levels that we're still probably working off now. But needless to say, man, we're good. We're here and we're live.
Wow.
Alive.
We hurt ourselves, and the freaking PS2 doesn't even work anymore.
Yo. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah. The woes. But man, I remember. Yo. Freaking. I don't know if I ever told you, but freaking going back to Papa, the man used to be freaking like getting us into the movies and shit, man. So like, damn, I really wish that he was like around and doing the whole thing about how he used to fix photo booths or whatever, because that's how he used to get us into the movies. He used to know us, know the people from the movie theaters or whatever. And yo, man, cool. So I'm like, damn, bro, I would have loved to seen freaking. Because I went through something similar, not watching the Marvel films, and I ran down them shits. And knocked them out. And I'm like, babe, you gotta see this. No. The DC thing. And I'm like, damn, I would have loved to see this in the theater, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it. And even, I don't know about now, though. That's another thing, too, man. I didn't want to freaking come back on and just start talking about COVID this and COVID that. And it's like, I'm not trying to freaking, like, I'm not trying to freaking like take away from it or anything. I know I'm jumping around a bit too, but I'm just not in a rush to freaking just the woes, and today's news, what I'm saying, is variant this or variant that, and I feel like I've done it anyway in mentioning it, but it's like I'm not trying to freaking say there's no reason or concern. I'm just saying I'm tired of freaking hearing about it, talking about it, but I don't know. That's the shit though. Like, I was gonna say with the what I was trying to tell you before, with the whole Marvel formula with what they're doing with the shows or whatever. I don't feel like they, kind of like undercutting a little bit, because again, it's coming from you, and you don't like remixes, and you like your story sets that everybody wins every single time. And what you said about WandaVision, that you thought it was gonna be them just freaking.
No, to me, WandaVision was like eating Turkish delight.
Nah, man, not that part.
Oh.
You said that.
Oh, okay.
And what you said, Turkish delight.
Well, no, wait, no.
What was it, Mark from Fat Man Beyond? Mark and Kevin Smith. what is it? Mark was talking about the Turkish delight is a reference to the Falcon Winter Soldier, when Zemo was like Turkish delights, bam, he throws the candies on the table, and like they're irresistible. And Mark from the Mark and Kevin Smith on the Fat Man to Beyond show. Mark was talking about how the freaking candies taste like Vaseline.
Yeah, because it just, I don't know.
Petroleum.
I have the very weird feeling about the Marvel shows now. Like, initially, just seeing the promos for WandaVision, I was like, oh, this is cute. They're going to do like an I Love Lucy type thing. It's in black and white. They're going to do the suburban life thing. And if they were like, not out saving the world, they're just chilling at home doing the family life thing.
And everybody's just getting hunky-dory.
I thought that was just going to be like a more comedic, silly, situational, like every day, something silly happens, like a family, like just like a family sitcom comedy, family matters or whatever. Every day something silly happens, and then there's a problem, and happy at the end of the episode, in a nutshell. So, but then just getting into the WandaVision, I remember when they came to the episode with the Salem witch trials, that kind of made like the hair kind of stand on the back of my neck, and I almost was like questioning whether to even continue to watch this episode. I felt like the heebies. I just really was like, should I be taking this in? Oh my god! Because I'm taking it in. You're looking at it. You're like wondering, is this bad? Is this bad if I watch this? So then I just, just again, for me, WandaVision in a nutshell was like a really good roller coaster in the beginning and a terrible roller coaster at the end. That's all I could say. Or just I don't know. It's really hard to explain it. It was like being hurt all over again.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you would have just left off, been fine with like Vision being dead, and it's like, okay, so what is this new form or thing that Vision is in the show? You know what I'm saying? Before she told them what Vision is. I
guess my
you'd rather be like in the dark, just not knowing what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying?
Because the last two, was it the last episode? The last two episodes to me were horrible. It was really depressing. It was the whole forcing Wanda to relive what she went through as a child, and then it's bad enough that for me it's a big deal. Like, I treat these characters like they're real life. So,
but that's what I'm saying.
Her brother died. She lost her parents. Her brother gets killed in Age of Ultron. At least he was killed not by a villain. He was killed by Ultron, so to speak, but he was doing a good thing because he helped save the boy, and he saved Clint Barton, Hawkeye. So basically he saved them and stuff like that. But I don't understand. Like, I was thinking, why make us hurt all over again? We saw him, him die. Wanda had to kill him to take the stone out of his forehead. It was just, I feel like Disney was just like throwing salt on our wounds and stabbing the same wound at the same time. That's what I think about WandaVision.
Damn.
No. I just, salt and then the knife on top of the salt in the same wound. It was just like a 1-2, like, no. And then the kids are vanished as well. That you don't get to see the kids anymore. We get to love these characters for them to be taken away, and it's just so horrible. I actually don't recommend that show for anyone that is clinically depressed.
Well, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
That's tough.
And then further...
Nah, if anything, I was like, damn, bro, leave Vision alone.
It was really hard to see.
Yeah, he was in question the whole time. He just wanted to break out. And it was at the end that it was like, damn, I'm not even real. What am I? And it's like come to find out, real Vision is like actually out there, saying now at the end of the show, he just flies off, fuck everybody. Like, not even you, Wanda. Not even a peace sign to Wanda.
See, that
nothing.
doesn't make any sense, because after he tapped him in the forehead, he gave him all his memories transferred over to White Vision, so that at that point,
but
White
the thing
Vision
is, I think that was partially unlocking. That was a thumbprint reader, haha, right? So that was like he was like everything. Opening him by like a cell phone. That's what was happening.
But he gave him all the memories, so to speak, in a quick flashback sequence. So, in my opinion, why didn't he immediately go look for Wanda?
But that's what I'm saying.
At the
Like,
end
I
of
didn't
that
understand
episode.
that. I didn't understand either. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he just went, like, he was out, man. Like, I need answers. You know?
I don't know. And then, like, so, I don't know. What I'm learning little by little, I learned along the way that these Marvel movies, the MCU movies, are derived from the comic books. I've been learning this little by little, doing my research online, coming to find out that, you know, that part of the, I don't even know what percentage to say, but like I'm wondering to what degree and what percentage is new movie written script of these characters and what's comic book derived. I would love to know what the percentage is because you know, I started to feel like how much of it is comic book and how much is it new material. And so why do we need to love these things so much if this is being derived from the comic books? It's almost like, why don't we just go back and you know, it's almost making me feel like to put down the Blu-ray and pick up the comic book.
I think that's the beauty. Actually, you're touching on a couple of things I wanted to talk about, because I think that's the beauty of, like, you know, having something like Marvel, that they created the whole comic book universe or whatever, and then we have the movies that came, you know, years afterwards. So they kind of both feed off each other at this point. And I don't have an answer, like, as far as how much, because they, like what I told you the other day, and I was shortly followed by, we should talk about this on the podcast. But I told you the other day, I'm like, there's a number of sources that they'll pull from, like one of the things I told you about, like Hela, how she was in Ragnarok, that she doesn't actually throw knives or materialize knives, whatever she does and throws them. That's actually another trait that another Marvel character has, or something that they actually kind of borrowed that ability and kind of implemented it in the movie. You know, for overall appeal. You know what I'm saying? It's badass. It's fucking knives.
Yeah.
You know, materialize from my wrist. You know what I'm saying? Bigger, cooler knives than Loki. You know? So they go ahead.
No, I'm like kind of going all over the place. I guess I've been recently. I came across some information in relation to the movies and in relation to Disney and Marvel that made me have a different feeling, almost like a sick to my stomach feeling, because I felt really bad for the individuals that I got to learn about. But at the same time, I felt really happy that I learned about these individuals, because I didn't know much. I didn't even know. It was so the other day I was watching the Fat Man Beyond, and I saw that they interviewed the gentleman named Ed Brubaker, and I really didn't even know, when it's not like when his name came on the screen, I was like, oh, it's Ed Brubaker. It was almost like
who that is.
It was just like, who is this guy? And I was like, okay, let me find out. Maybe this is gonna be interesting. You know, Kevin Smith. You know, he's not gonna disappoint. So let's see who this guy is.
No, but
who's
Brubaker?
So he's the original creator of the Winter Soldier storyline for Marvel Comics. And when I found out and I heard him talk for a good while, my heart just like sank, and I felt so bad for him, because I was just like, this is not right. Like, I immediately felt like Captain America in Civil War. I was just like, this poor man wrote this story, created this. Okay, it's not like he created Bucky. He didn't create James. You know, obviously that was, you know, Jack Kirby and, you know, Stan Lee that created that character. But he made a retelling, and it's kind of like a new character from an existing character. He's, in my opinion, he created something. When I first saw the Winter Soldier movie,
he helped reinvigorate the character in such a way that it took a bland character. What I told you, Bucky was this, you know, goofy, you know, kid sidekick. You know what I'm saying? That was like the old Marvel storylines, and I don't know.
He wanted, for years, he said in his interview that he wanted to bring him back to life. That he felt like that character was forgotten about, and he wanted to find a way to bring him back, or bring him back from the dead, or whatever it was. Because, you know, in the comics, he died in a plane. A plane had explosives on the plane.
Right.
And Captain America and him I guess Captain America jumped off the plane, and Bucky was still on the plane with the explosives when it blew up, so Captain America assumed that Bucky died in the explosion.
Okay, thank you for that. No, right. Seriously, because I'll get into something else after. Go ahead.
And so, you know, okay, I tend to, again, the way I look at things like this is like right is right and wrong is wrong. I get very Captain America about all these things, and I felt like no, that man Ed Brubaker deserves to be paid some type of royalties. I think, when I sat down to watch The Winter Soldier, that might have been one of the first Marvel movies we watched out of order before I started purchasing Phase 1. And then I was like buying these things on Amazon. I was like, okay, well, I got to get Phase 1. We got to get these movies because I want to see them in Blu-ray. I'm buying the collector's edition Blu-ray kits that have all the movies and the little posters and the trinkets that come with it. And so when I first saw The Winter Soldier, we didn't even have all the other movies. And I almost felt a bit confused. But at the same time, I really loved, that movie is awesome, The Winter Soldier. But then when I saw the interview on Fat Man Beyond of Ed Brubaker speaking about how part of that B plot is from his original writing, I felt like this poor man got ripped off. I felt like a nasty feeling in my stomach. I was like, oh my God, I love something that the original creator for the storyline didn't get paid. So it's just like, and then the other day I just started thinking to myself, I was like, not to say anything negative about Marvel and Kevin Feige, but I'm like, is Kevin Feige like what Puff Daddy did in the 90s with the with the remixes of the songs from the 60s and 70s?
Go ahead. I'm just laughing.
Because so now I'm thinking, these shows that are coming out now, I feel like Marvel is trying a little bit. I don't know. First of all, they did not know the success of the MCU films when they were doing Iron Man 1 and Hulk. The controversy with the actor Edward Norton and stuff like that. I don't think that they knew that these movies were going to continue to stick and create a connective storyline. I didn't think they were.
Nah, that was the goal. That was the goal.
I don't think that.
No, that was the goal from the beginning.
Because first of all, with Iron Man, with all the fucking Jon Favreau and a lot of that was off script. A lot of that was the whole. I feel like 70 or 60% of Iron Man was probably improv. And I might be going to stretch because it's not like I don't know. But so just the whole notion of they didn't know that they were going to make it to Phase 2. They didn't know they were going to make maybe Guardians of the Galaxy. They didn't know that the fans were going to care that much. But at the same time, they're kind of like taking from the comic book storylines and doing another remix spin on, they're making remixes of the comic book storyline in the film, but then at the same time maybe in the script somewhere they're writing new stuff, or maybe the character looks different, or they have different weapons, or they have different abilities, or whatever it is, but we don't know what the percentage is. So I almost feel like it was so amazing though, because they connected 23 films. But now it's like I feel like they're trying to maybe regain that with the shows now. I feel like they don't want to like stop the hamster wheel. They want to like, oh man, the success of all these movies to Endgame, let's do that again. Or let's see if we could push out and go to film fucking 40 in whatever, how many years from now, and just let's do it all over again. But obviously there's all this talk now about the new Avengers, which I'm really not interested in. I feel like once Tony Stark died, that's where it ended for me. Once you made Captain America into old Cap, that's where it ended for me. Black Widow's gone. These characters they're either, most of the original crew, the original six are not around, or they've there's two of them that are dead, and then one of them that's old, and we don't even know if he's dead or not, because there hasn't been a confirmed funeral. So in my opinion, he's still around and alive, and I just don't have that interest. Like, I feel like they're gonna try to see if they could repeat what they did with the films leading up to Endgame. I feel like I see them trying to do that again. Let's do 20-something more films. But I don't know if I'm going to care as much, because now it's like, you guys are just pulling from the comics. And then especially, when I hear that man, Ed Brubaker, talk about how he feels he was treated unfairly and he was ripped off. And, it feels horrible to see somebody, like, feel like, something was stolen from them. And, like, I just don't... and I believe what he's saying. I know it's just like, somebody might be out there saying, he could just be crying for money, or maybe he's exaggerating the whole situation. But I think that I truly believe him, that he's being treated unfairly, and that they didn't pay him enough, and he should be getting to especially since he doesn't want to even watch the show. He's so hurt to the point that he doesn't even care about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He doesn't want to watch it just yet. I mean, not that he doesn't care and he doesn't want anybody else to enjoy it, because he clearly said that he wants people to enjoy it. He doesn't want to sound bitter, but that he's not ready to watch the show, and I felt that was kind of sad.
Yeah, but that's what I was trying to tell. I was trying to tell you, man. Like, as far as like the storytelling goes, as far as like how the MCU works and whatever, it's literally an amalgamation of characters and storylines, and the abilities that these characters have might be pulled from someone else. Like what I told you with Hela, that she got that ability in the movie of Ragnarok, that materializing throwing knives or whatever. It's like that's a character trait from another. I mean, a trait from another Marvel character. And it's like, okay, so do you freaking pay some kind of royalty to that character, creator? So it's like, again, I was trying to tell you, like, damn, as a creative myself, like, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you gotta get like with anything, especially as intellectual properties and stuff, know what you're getting into. If there's a contract involved, which you want 100% of the freaking time, like you want your work legit and be compensated for it. And I'm not even talking about like I'm the most experienced person or whatever, this or that. It's just, me in my older age too, you just know better. Versus somebody like him, he probably started out younger and like, yes, just please pay me. It's very much of a big deal when you're developing someone else's intellectual property. What are the stipulations? How can I be compensated? Again, what I told you too, because these characters were developed in a time that is like, early 2000s, that is like, yeah, the whole superhero genre, the whole movie thing was starting to pick up and look even more promising. But it's like, maybe that just wasn't a stipulation that he actually wanted to list himself on the contract, or say, what about this? Should this, develop into, I don't know, again, we're not these people. But I know as a creative, fuck yeah, that sucks. That's exactly what I have a load of freaking issues, and I know my freaking interpersonal and social skills fucking suck sometimes. Anybody who knows me can tell you. But it's like, these are due to my experiences, just like anybody else's life path, causes them or dictates, they act or behave a certain way. So I look out and I'm very wary about what I get into things about helping develop a concept or whatever. And, a few can tell you I've been on guard, but it all came from the best intentions. Now, when you go into something like the MCU again, it's a crazy amalgamation, what's happening, because what's happening in the freaking show, it's a continuation of that. I don't know how much that follows the story, the original story.
I guess where they win is that they're deriving from the comic book, so that gets the fan base, the comic book fan base, and then they're creating the live action character with directors that, these are directors that I'm not even sure if they've written. I don't think they've written comic books, but directors have done other work, other directorial work, and so they're giving like their own spin on the live action version of these comic book characters. So in a sense, that's creating like some new elements to the person's character, so it's giving something new in addition to the comic book, what's derived from the comic books. So I feel like I think I would give Marvel more props, or the MCU more, Kevin Feige and what they're doing with the films. I would give them more props if they did less derived from the comic books and do more original, because they already have really, really good writers. Because the writers that did, in my opinion, they wrote the Captain America films and Endgame and Infinity War, those writers are, that duo is, they're amazing. So I feel like you got really good writers. Do something new. Don't be afraid to do, like what respect to Disney did with Star Wars. They just kind of kept giving the fans more of the same. So I feel like,
that's another story though.
They
that's
should just,
hold up. You're taking something that's already been established, like in a cinematic, a cinematic portrayal of something, and literally make like a carbon copy of a movie. That's totally different in my mind's eye. Totally different from like, mixing up whatever plot lines, whatever from across whatever stories, and actually making a cinematic portrayal of that, movie. A comic book storyline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that is a bit more.
No, I'm not trying to say it's extreme or anything, but it's a different type of portrayal. Like, yo, so much of what goes on in the Marvel Comics universe is so freaking crazily powerful, freaking other beings, like, overpowered shit that you would have to freaking take years and more years to build up to that level so the audience could understand exactly, you know, how powerful these characters are, and for these powerful characters to not just come out of nowhere. Like, shit would have to make sense. So what I was telling you with the Marvel characters, with comics
It's
themselves,
like the Falcon and the
comics
Winter-
themselves
the-
being an amalgamation of writers, a collaborative effort of writers, colorists, you know, inkers and stuff. They make that, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then it's kind of the same way with I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a bit predictable.
Why?
With respect, it was okay. So in one of the recent episodes, or in, I guess it was in episode 4, where Zemo was crushing all the super soldier vials. I annoyingly knew that there was gonna be one left. And I was praying. I was like, please step on all of them. Please step on all of them. Is all I kept saying. Please. I don't want to see this guy take the super soldier serum because he's already the dick as he is. He's already like an asshole. So I don't want to see him become a super soldier asshole.
But that's part of the
you know.
character. That's part of his character arc. Again, I know you don't like, you know, saying the legacy of Captain America. You know, I know you like your happy endings. You're a
Yeah.
different type of
Yes.
fan. That's what I'm trying to tell
I'm a very
you.
cliche happy ending.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like you with Vanda. I'm from this, you know, Russia now. I'm
Like so
Sokovian.
cliche that Captain America should have went back in time, returned the stones, and came back with everybody that died during the Infinity War MCU film saga. He should have bring Tony back, Natasha back, Gamora back. He should have fucking Vision back. He should have bring them all back. And when he went into the time machine to take back the stones.
But you can't do that. That's what I was trying to tell you again. Like for the listeners and viewers, oh my God, you know how like extensive conversations I'll be having about like, yo, there's different types of storytelling. And I'm the type of person that would get tired if I kept seeing freaking Michael Keaton still trying to be Batman. Well, actually, maybe not, because he's kick-ass Batman. Maybe that's a bad example. But, you know, maybe, you know what, let's stick with Michael Keaton, Batman, still making Batman.
I'll be cheering like those orphans in Lego Batman.
But
like, yay, Batman!
But merch God. But freaking, I would get tired of it. No, despite how awesome something is, it loses its flavor. So like back to your thing about writing something original and stuff, it's genius on a level that it incorporates. I mean, gets the audience for comics, the comic storylines involved, and no matter how much they talk shit about it, they watch it, and yeah, there's something to draw comparison to the freaking movies, where, you know what I'm saying, and you as a general audience and viewer doesn't exactly have to know what's going on.
The WandaVision show at the very beginning, where they did the whole sitcoms through the years, was that ever in comic book form, or is that original?
But I think they did something similar to the in the I forgot what they called it, man. My point is,
the House of M?
No, the House of M dealt more, and again, I'm not a comic expert, man, which is my next point. The House of M dealt more with her manipulating realities, manipulating reality, but in a different way. That it did not involve the whole sitcom thing, and there were, you know, Magneto was involved, quite a few, Xavier was involved. There was quite a few people. So obviously they don't, you know, Disney had to. Oh my God, there's so much I want to talk about.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I'm gonna say that even though I didn't really like WandaVision, I give it like a C-. I feel like maybe
because you took off 2 letter grades because of the heartache it caused.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a B- because they made the effort in creating new content instead of pulling from the comic books. And I feel like for me,
they're not exactly scot-free in that sense. They kind of derived the whole House of M concept, but they're more...
Well, you know, they stole from every decade because they took elements from sitcoms through the decades.
Yeah, so, I think that was I forgot the freaking... But Vision had something similar to Wanda, where he had his own family. And again, I'm not a comic book pro.
Yeah. I remember now.
Yeah. So it was a mashup of those two storylines and a couple of other things, I believe.
So they did
again, I'm not a comic book nerd like that. I what I tell you as well as everybody else, like I know I consider myself in the sweet spot, man, because I don't know that, I'm not like terribly nerdy into the whole comic book thing, whatever, but I know them enough and they cause that much of an impact in my life that I have a very big sweet spot for them, Marvel and DC. So I'm like, freaking.
So I think that, I mean, that I feel like I should give them credit for the first few episodes of WandaVision, because I thought that was kind of cool how they did, the sitcoms through the ages where it was black and white, and then they went into the 60s and the 70s and the 90s, and then it was like, oh, you're looking at the Full House, the set looked like Full House, or the 50s. I liked what they were in black and white, and I loved her outfit and her hair, and they really went out of their way because they basically had to, in order to get vision for people that I'm pretty sure that there's people that have watched the making of. We still haven't watched the making of yet. But he was the color of his face had to be a different color. Like I think it had to be purple or
like
blue.
A bluish
yeah,
purple.
He had to be blue, in order to come up in the black and white. And I thought that was like, wow, that's it wasn't easy doing that, and having her, go into the, have the whole the 50s to the fullest. The hair, the clothing, the set. All of that had to have been expensive and hard to do.
Yeah, right. Well, what I was gonna try to say before my freaking brain started. What I was like, I'm not that much of a comic nerd. I'm not, saying too much that involved into the whole politics thing or whatever you're trying to get into but the behind the scenes thing about Ed.
Yeah.
The creative Winter Soldier and stuff. And I'm like,
I just found this out just a few days ago.
Yeah, but I just know, again, I just know enough to say, like, damn, I love these characters. They they have a crazy big spot in my freaking heart. It's like I just want to see both franchises, DC and Marvel, doing well on another note. But as far as like the whole particulars and stuff, and like the whole writers thing, whatever, they're taking the familiarity, and giving you the general audience something new. It's not exactly just freaking tossing, freaking storylines in the mixing bowl and jumbling it around and see what works. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I guess I would. I guess if they like, this is just my opinion. They're pulling from the comic book to make the movies. I would appreciate if they maybe pulled less and added more new content to these characters, that they could come up with their own writing team
but what's the difference? Can I ask you what's the difference to you, because it's new to you, because you're not a comic book reader?
Then it wouldn't make me feel so bad about the fact that how the original creators are not getting compensated. That would make me feel better about that. It would not, because then I'm over here enjoying something and people are, it made me feel bad. That's all. Just seeing the gentleman talk for a while, I was like, damn, that's horrible. It just made me feel bad to be such a raging Marvel fan, and I love the Winter Soldier, and I love that movie. But that's what I'm
saying. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, don't worry about yourself and don't worry about the But every freaking company, I believe, is built on the backs of many. I'm not saying everybody gets screwed over, man, but shit, you get freaking minimum wage in a lot of jobs because that's just the way companies work, man.
I did want to say earlier that not to be negative or anything with Marvel, but I feel like Robert Downey Jr. really kind of was the driving force for all those movies.
Man, what I was just trying to tell you is that was the goal.
That was the for me, because again, I loved him in all the movies I've seen him in the 80s. He was in Weird Science, and I loved him in Tough Turf. For those of you that know about Tough Turf.
And you're gonna say it wrong a second time too.
Yeah, I almost said it wrong, but yeah, I like that I like that cheesy movie. I'll watch that again. Nonetheless, though, I seen him back in the days in the 80s movies, and so I when I saw him as Iron Man, I was like, okay. And first of all,